Hi, good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Can someone confirm? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So today is the DAD session for 4 and week 5, right? Okay. So first we will be doing a brief summary of both of those weeks, and then we can practice some questions. I'll share my screen. Is it visible to you?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So weeks 4 and 5 basically contains different data types of Python like lists, dictionaries, sets, tuples, right? And then we'll also learn about iterators, generators, lambda functions. So this is just a revision of all those concepts, and then we'll practice a few objective type questions. Okay. So first is our lists. So what are lists? What are the basic operations that we can do? So lists are one second. Yeah. So lists store what? Ordered mutable sequences. What does mutable mean?
Something that we can change.
Right. We can change it. Okay. So can list contain different data types? The list can store mixed data types, right? So you can have integers, strings, whatever you want. Common operations that we can perform on lists are indexing, slicing operations we have learned, updating the list, iterating through the list. So all of these indexing, like if I have a list, I can access any element in the list using its index, like index 0, 1. Slicing operators, so you can extract any part of the list that you want, right? It is same as string slicing. Updating the list, so you can modify any of the elements and you can traverse through the elements. Okay, so we will also discuss aliasing versus cloning, although that is optional. So what are some useful methods of list? We have append, which appends an element to the end. We have extend, insert, pop, all of these methods. Now, a list is basically a dynamic array-like structure in Python. Right? Why it is dynamic is because we don't allocate a certain amount of memory to it. We can extend it as much as we want. Right? And it allows you modifications. So it is mutable. Right, that means operations can change the actual original list. So that's why when you pass such mutable elements through function as parameters, then there can be some problems in some cases. We'll see some examples because these mutable data types, they actually whatever changes are performing within that actually will affect the original parameter that you pass, the original list. Uh, Indexing of a list always starts at zero index, that is the first element. Slicing creates new lists. Assignment update. So we have in place updates, right, in a list. So this is basic access of a list. So if this is your list, print L of 2. So 2 is the index. So 0, 1, 2, this will print 30. Negative 1, this is the index that starts from the last element. So we will start from 40, right? Okay. Slicing. So if this is my list, then this slicing operator, basically slicing does what? If I have two colons like this is the starting index, this is the ending index, and then we give the jump. That is how many steps I want to jump, right? So here I have start and end index. That means if you don't provide a jump, it will just go one element, right? So index 1, it will start at this element 2, print 2, 3, and 4 up to this. And if you give this is the command for reversal of the list, right? So this will print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So anyone can tell me what this will give if I want to print this for this particular list.
it will reverse the list.
Reverse. And so what is the difference between this and this? What will this print?
It will skip 2 elements from the reverse.
So first it reverses the list. So it becomes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. then it will print this and this, right? Only 4 and 2. Okay, mutation. What is mutation? So it is basically how you can modify the list. So if at index 1 in this list I want to modify it to 99, you know this. So aliasing, so this is dangerous. Why? Because now a single list object, you are referring to it by A as well as B. So first A was a list, then I assigned B as the same list. Now if you modify B, this will also modify A because these are both pointing to the same object, right? And cloning is what? So if I have a list A and in B I'm storing a copy of this, right? So this means just a copy of the list A. This is a separate object. So B of 0, if you convert this to 999, then B is 999, comma 2, comma 3, but A will still remain as the original list. So this is the difference between aliasing and cloning. Aliasing is just giving a different name to the same list. Okay. So this is just a basic list operation. So if I have this list, I assign Y to X, right? And then I assign Z to this. So is this correct? After this, if I do, let's say print Y, what will be the list? This is just on the concept of aliasing and cloning. So for Y, did we do aliasing or did we do cloning? This is the same object, right? We just give it a different name. So whatever change you make in Y, that will also reflect in X, right? So after this, if I print X, please mute yourself if you don't have a question. Okay. So we changed index 1, so it will be 1, 200 and then 3, right? But in Z, if I make this change, this will not reflect in X. So that's why this 3 is not modified to 300, right? But in Z list, it is 1, 2, 300. Okay. Now this. Okay. See, I have this. This is a list containing integers and another list. So this is kind of list of lists, right? Now in B we are doing, again, this is cloning, right? So B of 2 of 0 is set to 999. Now if I print A, what will I print? First of all, tell me what index is
Same
this?
list.
2 of 0. Right, same list will be printed. So if I printed B, in that case, which index, which element would be changed by this?
129994 means the
Right.
second index will be changed.
This one, right? In
Yes.
case of this 3, I'll have 999. Good. Okay, let's do a little NAT. So if this is given, what is the sum? What is this part of the slicing will give me what? Index 1 up to index 3. So if I want to do sum of those.
20 and 30.
Right. So this index 1, 2, 3. Will it not include 40?
No. N minus 1.
Correct. So it is 20 and 30 and length of list is 4. Right. So this will give me 54. Okay. Which operations modify list in place? Which of these will modify the list in place?
L plus 10. L plus 10.
This you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other answers? Anyone?
Append.
Append. Anything else? Okay. Let's check. So it is append and extend also. Right. What does extend do?
Extend the list with another list.
Sorry, am I audible? I can't hear you.
Extend the list with another list.
Hello.
You are audible.
Can't hear anything. Wait 1 second. Let me check my mic.
You are very much audible, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, now I can hear you. Okay. So this is fine. Append and extend also. Extend just adds another list, right? To that same list. Like if I do a list one, extend list two, then it will add list two elements also. So is this one in place? What does this do actually? If I have a list, let's say if I have a list L, okay, it contains maybe 1 comma 2. And if I say M is containing L plus this, what is this? This is going to create a new list M, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And append 10 to the end of it. So these two are in place. Append and extend. Okay. String, let's quickly go through some of the string slicing methods and all.
If
String,
it is appending 10 at the end, so the answer should include that as well, right? L plus 10 as well.
yeah. If you print that M, it will come with the 10.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So strings are immutable, right? So we cannot modify any string index. Slicing creates new strings, same as list slicing. Common methods in string, so upper, lower, these are for cases. Strip you have, so you can pass any parameter, like if you want to strip according to spaces or commas. You have, I'm sorry, so split, I mean, split you can do according to spaces, commas. Strip is for stripping the white spaces. Then you have join. And we have a membership operator, so if you want to check if a character belongs in a string, then we can check using in. Right, and explanation part is that the string behave like list of characters but cannot be changed. So slices return the substrings, and let's check some examples. So if this is my string and I want to print this slice, then it will print from index 1, so E, then 2, 3, 4, up to this, right? Because 5, so n minus 1. So this part will be printed. If I do s dot split, then it will do what? Split this into a list, right? And I'm splitting according to the white space. So list of 2 elements. Then if you do this, print, this is a hyphen I've added. So if I want to join the elements of this list using a hyphen, right? So you can put the joining operator that you want here and then do dot join function and then give the list as parameter whose elements you want to join. Okay, this we already have discussed. Okay, let's do this. So if this is your string and you do this, s dot replace, what is this? What are these parameters? What will this do, this print statement?
Replace small a with big
For every for
First
every
one,
index,
one first a only.
index.
this index, right?
Yeah.
Okay. NLT, so this s dot count ABC. What does this dot count do?
It will return the length of the string character. Sorry. ABC, it's a word. So how many times it's occur, it will reprint.
It is occurring here,
Yeah,
right?
2 times also.
So that and plus the length of this is just reversing it. So it is the same, that is 6, right? Okay, this is just a summation then. Which are valid string methods from here? Is alpha, is it valid?
Yes, ma'am.
Append? Is append a string method?
No, it's a
No, list method.
Find?
no,
Reverse?
no.
Find is not a string method. What does find do?
It will search the string or character in the given list or string.
So basically in Python you can find a substring in a string using this find, right? Or you can use the in keyword. So instead of in keyword like we used in this previous question when we discussed in operator, that means if you want to check if a character belongs in a string. So instead of doing that, you can do it using find method also. Okay. Okay. Next is tuples. So again, what is a tuple? It is ordered elements, immutable. So you cannot modify tuples either. This is the tuple syntax, right? So once created, you cannot change. That is, you cannot update it anyway, add or remove or modify anything. So tuples are defined using parentheses or just commas sometimes also. That also works. So characteristics, you already know that it can also contain mixed data types. It can contain duplicates, right? And why do we use tuples? So that to store the data that we do not want to change, right? Tuples are faster also. So that we discussed back in, okay, this is DAD session, right? So, okay, so tuples are faster. We can check this actually using some examples. Okay, if I have time after the class, we can do that again. It can be used as keys in dictionaries. Okay, but lists cannot be used as keys because lists are mutable and dictionary keys cannot be mutable, right? And keys you cannot update. You can update the value part. Okay. So this is how you can create tuples. All these will work different ways. How to access the elements? So index-wise access, just like lists only. Okay, tuple operations. So here also you can do a slicing, concatenation you can do. So count, index methods, these are similar only. Sets in Python. So set is a set is an unordered mutable collection of unique elements. Right. So set is again the big characteristic difference is that it only contains unique elements. There are no duplicates in a set. Right. But it is also mutable, so you can update the elements. But the elements must be immutable. Right. That means set itself is mutable, but the elements it contains have to be immutable. Like a set cannot contain a list. Okay. So defined by curly braces. So just like dictionaries or sets are also defined by curly braces. Sets automatically remove duplicates. So characteristics are again same, unordered, mutable, no duplicates. You can do different mathematical operations like union, intersection, set difference. Why do we use sets? Again, same thing, unique elements. You can do fast membership check. Again, the mathematical different operations you can perform. So how to create sets? You can just directly create it like this. So sets, here if you do this, so if I want to find a set of this list, if I want to make this list into a set, then it will just remove the duplicates, right? So 1, 2, 2, 3 will become 1, 2, 3. Now this is also another way. So this you can do for dictionaries also, list also, you can just call the function. Okay, adding and removing elements. So these are the different syntax. So if you want to add an element 5, just dot add or dot remove will this will remove this element. If it is not there, then it will raise a key error. S1 dot discard. So this S1 is your set. So if you perform this method, discard and pass this parameter, so it will not raise an error. Right, so that's the difference between remove and discard. So remove will raise a key error if it doesn't find the element, but discard will not. Okay, you don't need this much details. I have given you all the information in one place. Okay, so if I have these two sets, right, and if I want to do A union B, so this will give me all the elements of the two sets, but again, no duplicates. Intersection gives the common elements, as you know. difference will give. So if I do A difference B, then this is the answer. If I do B difference A, then it is 3, 5. It is 5, 6. Print A dot symmetric difference. So symmetric difference also you can perform. These things are, I mean, especially this is not very necessary, but these three, yeah. Membership testing. So again, same in operator. So you can check if an element belongs in that set or not. When we come to loops, so we usually use just these two types of loops, right? For and while in Python. Okay. So loops basically do what? They are a repeated block of code. So if you want some lines of code to perform a certain number of times consecutively, then you run it within a loop, right? Now that syntactical difference is there. For a for loop, what happens? So we have to provide the range in Python, right? So this is my iterator I, this is my range. So what does this represent basically?
List.
Okay. So this is a list, and what am I doing? I'm going through every item in this list, right? So here I haven't defined a range because here I'm just iterating through the list. Now in this entire code, what is happening? So I'm picking each element and printing it, and then n is set to 5. Here we can do a while loop like this. So n is set to 5 until n remains greater than 0. You can just decrease n by 1 on every iteration, right? And then you can add a print statement. So while loop and for loop, syntactical difference is that in for loop we have to specify the range, or we have to specify the data container from which it is traversing. But in while loop, we can just give a condition at the beginning that as long as this condition is satisfying, you can run the loop, right? And at the point, so before the start of every iteration, you have to check that condition. When it violates, you can end the loop. Okay, this is a nested loop. What will this do? So for I in range 3, for j in range I, print I plus j, and this. What does this do? If I put end equals to this quotation marks in space.
Space, it will give space.
So the output will be of what format?
In one line.
In one, right? So for every I value, just go through the j values in that range and just print the sum here. Okay, let's do this question. So count is set to 0. For I in range 3, for j in range 3. If I equals to j, then continue. What does continue statement do?
Go to next j section. If I is equal to j, then go to next j.
Correct. That means just go for the next iteration, right? This iteration is skipped. Okay. So count is starting from 0. So first I value is 0. So for I in j in range 3. So when will I become equal to j?
I and j is equal to 0.
So when j is equal to 0. So if I is equal to j, then what do? We go for the next iteration. Right. So when I is 0, next j is 1, then what will do?
We add 1 to count.
Right. So what will be the answer of this program? So when I is 0.
6.
Okay, let's check. When I is 0, then how many times will count get incremented for j values? J will be 0, 1 and 2. These are the j values, right? So when I is 0, how many times count gets incremented? 2 times. Right,
Yes,
when
2
j
times.
is 1 and when j is 2. So count is incremented 2 times here. Then when I is 1, then also count is incremented 2 times. When I is 2, then also count is incremented 2 times. So 6. Okay. Question 8, this x is equal to 0. Then for I in range 1 to 4, x plus equal to I cross I. What is this going to give? So we start from I equals to 1. And then x is modified how? So 1 square, right? And then for 2 and 3 also you have to add the squares. So 4 plus 9, so this is 14. So this type of small questions come from these topics. We will discuss the full length questions after the revision. Okay. Functions, another important topic in week 5. So parameters, return, scope. So what is a function? Basically, it is a procedure, right? It is a procedure. So if let's say we are writing a program and we want some particular job to be done, let's say n number of times, but we don't want to write that code n number of times, right? So what we do is we pass it through a function. So we write a separate function for this task that I have to perform. And every time I need to perform that task in my main program, then I'll just call that function, right? So a function usually has a name, distinct name of the function. We have to pass the parameters based on which it will work out the execution. And a function may or may not return something, right? So usually if it has a return value, then you have to store it somewhere in the main program where you're calling it. Okay, so functions execute only when called. A function's internal variables are local, so whatever variables we use within a function, their scope is only within that function, right? They don't exist outside of the function. So if a mutable argument is passed, modifications affect the original. So this is what I was talking about, that when we write a function, if we pass some mutable arguments or mutable parameters, in that case, the modifications that happen, like if I passed a list as a parameter, then whatever changes I make in that list, in that function, that is going to be reflected in the original program also, right? Because that is just one object. I'm just pointing to that object only. Basically, I'm passing, think of it like a pointer. If I'm passing a pointer to an object, right, and it is doing the modifications, every time I'm calling the function, it is doing the modifications on that same place in memory, on that same list. Okay, so this can be a problem in a few cases. We'll see some examples. So if we have a function like this, add. So here I have passed A and B. So if I print this, what will happen? So can I pass another value like this for B? Do I need to?
Yes, you can.
But I don't.
We
If I
can
pass,
pass, but not
we can
mandatory.
pass, but not mandatory. Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So B has a default value here. Okay. This is just a syntax. Now, what is the mutable parameter trap? What happens? So if I have this function f and I pass a list L, okay. Here I'm saying append 100. So basically this is the function f. If I call it and pass a list as parameter, it will append 100 to that list. So in my original program, this is my list and here I'm calling the function. So now it has actually changed or modified the list itself. Now here it is not a problem, but if you're integrating it into some bigger code and there you don't want the original list object to be disturbed, right? Then you have to take a copy of this. Okay. Okay, this is the function. You're passing a variable A and an empty list L. The function just appends A to L and returns L. So you can call it like this with parameters and it will append the objects, right? Okay, here what is happening? This is the function definition. So in this function, we pass some variable x. We add 5 to it, we return it. So if in the main function I have y equals to 10, then I pass this. Print y, this will give how much?
15.
15. Okay. So why 15? Here when I'm saying that y is 10, okay, then I call the function with I pass y as the parameter. Okay, but if I print this y, which object is it actually? Is it the local y or is it the global y I'm printing?
Local
Here
one.
it is local y.
See, in the function, here when I'm running with this y, this is local, right? This is local to the function itself. Whatever modification I'm making to this y doesn't affect the global y, right? So this will print what?
10, 10.
This will print 10 only. Right. This is the same. Now, if you wanted to store it in this, let's say I took another variable and then this value is stored here, and then I do print of z, then it will print 15 because that is reference to this. Okay. This one, mutable default argument problems occur. Why? So first option is Python evaluates. Okay. So what does this mean? Mutual default argument problems. This is just what we discussed, that if I pass a mutable data type like a list, in that case the changes occur in the original list, right? So out of these four options, which ones do you think are correct? Python evaluates default arguments once. That means it doesn't, every time you're calling the function, it's not like it's creating a separate list, it is working on the same list. So is option 1 correct? This. So this means what? That Python evaluates default arguments once. Like if I pass a default argument, a list, then every time I call that function, will it refer to a different list or will it refer to the same list?
The same list.
Same list.
Same list. So this is correct, right? Each call reinitializes the variable. It doesn't, right? It is the same list. It doesn't create new list. This is wrong. Mutable objects persist across calls. Means whatever changes I'm making in the list, which is my mutable object, that change will persist across the next function call also if I give the same parameter. So this is also correct. Only lists cause this. Is this correct? Are lists the only mutable data type in Python? No. Right. Sets can also cause this. Dictionaries can also cause this. So this type of theoretical questions can come. Week 5 we have, okay, now dictionaries. So dictionaries are unordered, right? And they are also mutable. But the keys have to be immutable, which is why I said that we cannot have mutable data types as keys. So lists cannot be keys of dictionaries, right? But tuples can. So the keys must be immutable. We cannot modify them, but the values are mutable, right? So you have to again access using key indexing. So if you want to access a particular element in a dictionary, you have to access it using the key, right? And useful methods on this are keys. So if you have a dictionary D and I write D dot keys, what will this give me?
All keys.
A list of keys of dictionary D, right? List of keys. Then you have values also. Similarly, you can get using items. You can itemize it like key value pair. Okay, so these are the different methods you can use. Now, for some examples, so this is a dictionary here. A and B are the keys. 1 and 2 are values. Values can be duplicates also, right? Okay, so if you print D of A, this will print the value 1. Revision. Okay, this is same only. Let's do some questions. Okay, so this is the dictionary. X is containing D of A. Then you do X dot append 99. So now when I print D, which element would be changed?
1299.
So D of A is what? This list. So this will just be modified with 99. Right. Out of these, what are the valid keys? These 4 options. Is the first one valid? Is it mutable? This is a tuple. Tuples are
No.
immutable.
No.
So it is valid, right? Keys have to be immutable data type that we cannot modify. So this is a valid key for a dictionary. Is this a valid key?
No, list is
No.
mutable.
String, can a string be a valid key? Strings are immutable,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? But this is a set. Sets are also mutable. Set elements are immutable, but sets itself are mutable. So this cannot be key. Okay. This part is not very required. We'll just do the nested list because matrix multiplication is just application. It is just a problem. If you want, we can discuss it. Okay, let me check once. Okay, let's discuss it. So basically matrix, how are matrix represented in Python? How can I represent a matrix? So their matrix are 2D structures, right? So can we have a list of lists? Right. If I write a matrix like this, is this a valid representation of a matrix?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So these are what rows of the matrix, and we have 3 columns because there are 3 items again. Um, so you can access each of the elements using list index. So you have to give an outer index and an inner index. So nested loops are used for matrices, right? And matrix multiplication logic. So this is an example I've taken here. So these are my 2 matrices, square matrices. Obviously their orders are same, so we are able to multiply. So this is my resultant matrix, right? Here I want to store the multiplication result. So matrix multiplication occurs how? So A looks like this and B looks like this. Right, this is how we have seen generally matrices. So how, if I want to multiply these two, this is my resultant list. So what is the first element? How am I going to get it? By multiplying the first row with the first column. So 1 into 5 plus 2 into 7. Right, so this should be 19 here. Then similarly you do this with the second column. So 1 into 6, 2 into 8, 16 plus 7, 16 plus 6, that is 22. So like this you can get the other results. So how to get it in code, how to write it in code. So for I in range 2, because this matrix has dimension of 2. So I in range 2, j in range 2, j is for the columns. And again we have another nested loop k in range 2. So for resultant matrix ij, right? Let's give the indices. So this is 0, 1, 0, 1. This is 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay. So what is the index of this position, this 22? This is 0th
0,
row,
1.
first column.
0, 1.
Right. So if I want to find this index, what should be my logic? I need to multiply this first row with the second column. This, right? So resultant of ij, here ij plus 0, 1. It is a of ik. Okay, k is also in range 2. So for first iteration, k is 0. So when k is 0, what is a of ik? That is I is 0, k is 0. So a 0, 0, this element 1 into b of kj. K is 0, j is also 0. I'm sorry, j is 1. J is 1. So b of 0, 1, that is 0th row, first column. That is this. Wait, we are missing something, I think. 0, 1. So I is 0, k is 0, j 1. So I should be multiplied with 6. Yeah, this is fine. So b of k of j, so k is 0, 0th row, first column, j is 1. So 1 into 6. This is when k value is 0. Second iteration when k value becomes 1, then a of ik is going to be I is still 0, k is 1. So 0, 1, 0 row, first column. So 2 into b of kj, k is 1, j is 1. So 1, 1, this 8. Right, so this is 8. So 2 into 8, 16 plus this 1 into 6. So when you add these two, then you get this 22. Okay, so this is the matrix multiplication logic. This also gives you a good example for nested iterations. So here, can you tell me how many times this k loop will iterate overall? So how many iterations for I will get if range is 2?
2.
2.
2 iterations. Now for every I iteration, how many j iterations will be there?
2. 2.
So total, how many I and j
6.
iterations? 2 into 2, 4.
4.
Now for every ij, there is going to be a k iteration.
8. Then
See,
uh,
for I0, there will be an iteration for J0 and 1. Right. Again, for J0, there will be K0 and 1. Again, for J1, there will be K0 and 1. Similarly, when you start with I1, there will be J0 and 1. And again, same for each. So how many in total you see in the tree? How many leaf nodes? 8. That means 8 different times this K loop will iterate. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. This is fine. Let's do list comprehension. So list comprehension is what? We know how to, let's say if I want to run a for loop on a list and I want to modify the element somehow. So I know how to write that code, but can I make it shorter? Can I make it more compact in one line? That's list comprehension, right? So you can get all of those same conditions accumulated into one line. So it is equivalent to loops. Okay. So list comprehension allow you shorter syntax, but the same logic as a loop. For example, if I write this, x cross x for every x in range of 5. What is this actually doing? It is picking all the x values in range of 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will return what? If I print this list L, what will the list look like? 0, 1. Tell me what are the next elements?
4.
9, 16. Right. So the squares of the elements. Similarly, this one, if you do, what does this do? So x for x in, so it will take those elements where the element is in the range of 10 and if the element is even. So this is just from 0 to 9, sum of all even numbers. Right. Okay. Similarly for this also you can do. So this is nested. I mean, this is 2 for loops. So for every x value, you have to do both the iterations in y and then check the summation. So this, okay, tell me the resultant list from this. What will the list contain?
1 plus 4. 4, 5.
It will contain a sum for 1 and 3. So 4, then 5, 1 and 4, then again 5, then 6.
6.
Right. Okay, this is another comprehension. So L is I star j for I in range 3 if I not equal to 1 for j in range 3. So what will this do? See, this loop will only execute when I is not equal to 1, right? So I will attain how many values? It is in range 3, so 0, 1, 2. Out of this, for value 1, it cannot run the j loop. So for these two values, the j loop will run. So when I is 0, yes, I is not equal to 1. So for j in range 3, you append these elements. So that means 0 into 0, 0 into 1, 0 into 2. These three elements will be added. So this becomes 0, 0, 0 basically. These are the first three elements of your list. Then again, when I is 1, nothing will happen because this condition is invalid. When I is 2, then 2 into 0, 2 into 1, 2 into 2. The next elements are 0, 2, and 4. Is list comprehension clear for everyone? Any doubt? Okay. This is easier way of writing in exams when you don't have that much time. Okay. Next is lambda functions, map, and filter. Right. So lambda basically does what? It creates anonymous functions. Again, these are very short functions that you can write in very few lines of code. Map is what? Map is something we can apply using map. We can apply a function to every element. Let's say in a list. Okay, I have a list of n elements. I want to apply a particular function to every element in that list. So you can do that using map. So it maps the function to each individual element. Filter does what? Filters will keep only those elements where the condition is true. That means it is going to set some condition, and let's say I have a list. Okay. Now from this list, let's say I have a list containing first 10 natural numbers. Now from this, I just want the even ones. Okay, so I can give a filter that x% 2 is equal to 0. Only those elements will be taken out or filtered out. Okay. So example of lambda. So if you can write a lambda function like this, f equals to lambda, this is the syntax. So if you call the function with, let's say, 5 as parameter. So 5, lambda of 5, this will return what? 5 cross 5. Again, if you do this, okay, just this part will not give a list. Okay. This does what? See, map is just applying the function to each of the items, okay, in the iterable. But you have to wrap it into a list. Only then map returns just the map object. Okay, if you want to see the elements in the form of a list, you have to wrap it into the list function. So this map function is just applying this lambda function to every item in this list. Okay, so if you want to wrap it in a list and then you want to print this, then this will give what? 2, 3, 4. It's just increasing every element by 1. Okay, and for this, so this is filtered operation. So here filter just applies this lambda function to these elements, and it will only take the ones which satisfy this condition. Right. So for one, so only for evens it will satisfy 2 and 4. So you will get 2 and 4 as answer of this. Again, for filter also you have to wrap it in a list function. Okay. Give me the answer for this one. This, what will this return? So filter is applying to this list, and this is the condition. So from here, what will I get?
4, 6.
Okay. So I'll get 4 and 6. Now map is applying this to whatever is the result of filter. So what will the final list contain?
8, 12.
8, 12. Right, let's check once. Right, I think I've given something wrong here. Yeah, this is the different explanation. Okay. So basically this is the iterable. This entire thing acts as an iterable, right? So map is just mapping this lambda function to the result of the filter. Okay. This, which are equivalent? So first of all, a map, just if I call map function and I am checking it against a list, can both of these things be equivalent? Are they the same data type? Option 1 and 2. You have to wrap the map function in a list to get the list of elements, right? But yeah, functionally these two are doing the same thing, right? Functionally it is correct. These two statements are equivalent, but if you want to print and see the output, then it will be different, because map is just the reference to the object. Okay, if you want to get the individual elements into a list, you have to wrap it in the list function. So if I ask that are these equivalent, then the answer should be no. But if I ask are they functionally equivalent, then it is correct, right? Because both these are doing what the second one in list comprehension also you can see. It is just taking every element from list L and adding one to it. Okay, then the third option. So which are equivalent? A, B, C, D out of this. I already told you A and B are not. So for the third option, what is happening? Are any of these equivalent? No, right? So these, out of these four, only these two are functionally equivalent, but if I print the output, then they're not equivalent. Okay, so here if I add functionally equivalent, then the answer is A and B. Okay, iterators and generators. So iterator is what? It is an object with next. Here here we will use that next statement, And in generator, we'll use the yield statement. Okay. So what basically happens, generators produce the values slowly. That is one value at a time we will get. Okay. The definition of an iterator is that it is an object that implements the iterator protocol, meaning it has methods like this, iter method, next method, but this is a lot of details that you don't need to get into. I'll just show you an example. So if I have a list like this, and if I pass this function, iter my list. Okay. Now I have stored this in the iterator variable. Now every time I want to print next iterator, so it will print the elements one by one, but it will not print all in one go, right? So every time I have to call this next function on this iterator. Only then it will print one by one all the elements. And once it exhausts the list, it will raise the stop iteration message. And in generator, what happens? It is a special type of iterator. That is, it is created by a generator function, right? So here we use the yield statement. So how it works is, instead of returning all values at once, so iterator and generator are similar, but they're not same. A generator yields one value at a time, suspending and resuming its state between yields. So it looks like this. This is the function count up to n. So count is first it is initialized to 1, while count is less than equal to 10, yield count. Okay, and then you increment the counter. So when you actually call this function and store it in gen, then again you have to write it like this, next of gen. So basically, see, every count value that is generated, that is going to be printed here, right? But one by one, until you call it, it won't return anything. Okay. These are same. Okay, file handling is not there in week 4 and 5. That will be in week 8. So we can practice some questions now. Okay, can you see the question PDF?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go through this code. Okay. From this, we have 2 questions. So what is this doing? Basically, it is importing random library. So we have a list called results, which is an empty list, and I is an iterable in the for loop, which is in range 1,50,000. Right. So number is what it is generating. What is this line doing? Anyone? Random.randint.
We take random integers, 10 integers.
In the range?
1 to 10.
Between 1 and 10, it throws a random number.
Any random number, right? And we will append it to results. Okay. How many times we are generating such a random number? 1,50,000 times. So your result list contains all these numbers. Next, count is set to 0, and we have a list of even numbers. So for value in results, that is for every value in that result list, if the value is also present in evens list, then count is incremented. So the first question is, what is the size of results? That is how many times you have generated the values. 1,50,000. That's the size. Second question is, if this is the code snippet, what does the variable ratio represent? So first tell me here, count will give what? Here in this program, what does count represent? I have some 1,50,000 random values. I'm checking for each of the values if it is present in evens. If it is present, then count is incremented. So what is count representing? Can I say count represents the number of even values in the results list?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the code snippet doing? Ratio is a variable in which I'm storing count by length of results. Length of results is 1,50,000. And this is how many, the count of number of even elements in that.
And can you please tell how the result is come 1,500, 1,05,000?
Sorry, come again. I didn't hear you.
How the result is come
Yeah, see.
1,05,000?
Results is initially an empty list, right? Then
Yeah,
I is running in this for loop. I is running how many times? This many times.
1,50,000.
Okay. And at every iteration, what am I adding to results? Some random number that I have generated between 1 and 10. So results list contains how many elements? As many iterations as there were. Right? Because for every iteration, I'm adding some element. So how many elements in result list? 1,50,000.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay. So now I told you that count is what? Count represents the number of even values in that result list. Right? And length of result list you already know. So what does this ratio actually represent? So these are the five options. First option is saying it represents the probability that a number chosen at random between 1 and 10 is even. Is this correct? How is probability defined?
Number of favorable outcome by total outcomes.
Right. So here count is the number of favorable outcomes and length of results is the number of total outcomes. So is option A correct according to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I say that it is the probability of a number chosen at random between 1 and 10, the probability being even?
No, ma'am.
What is the total set? I haven't mentioned anywhere, right? So this is wrong. Second is it represents the number. I mean, I can't fully say that this is wrong. This is the probability of a number being even, but out of what? Right? Where is that number present? So I will not cross it out. Let's keep it. Option B is saying that it represents the number of even numbers from 1 and 10. So that is just count, right? It is not ratio. T is it represents the number of even numbers in list results. Is this correct? Is it just the number of even numbers in list results? No. That's stored in count, right? Option D is it represents the probability that a number chosen at random from the list results is even. Is this correct?
Yes.
This is the correct option. So option B and C, see, the difference between A and D and B and C is the exact same, right? A and D, the difference is that both are representing probability of a number chosen at random, but what is the total sample space, right? That is not given in the first option. So your sample space is the result list. That has to be mentioned. And option B and C, what is the difference? Again, same thing. That count is representing the number of even numbers in the list results, right? Not in the entire universe. So option B is incomplete and C is complete in terms of this, but both are wrong anyways. Option E is saying it represents the probability that a number chosen at random from the list evens is in results. So we are not checking the other way around, right? We are checking for every number in results whether it is in evens. We are not checking whether evens is in results. Okay. So these two questions are clear for everyone so far? Okay. See this. Assume that A is a non-empty list of distinct positive integers. Okay. So consider the following code and answer. Okay. I think I only took one question. The fourth question is something else. Just for one question, this is the code. So initially T is set to 1 for V in A. Okay. A is a list of distinct positive integers. So for every such integer, I am multiplying it and storing the product in T. So after the end of this for loop, T is what? Product of all list A elements, right? Then flag is set to false and Z is set to -1. So for V in A, now again you're iterating through this distinct positive integers list A. For every integer you're checking whether T% V, T is the total product, whether T% V is equal to 0, that is whether V exactly divides T. And the quotient is also V. That is, if I do floor division, T divided by V, then the result is V. If both these conditions are true, then flag is set to true. And Z is assigned to the current V. and we break out of the loop. Okay, so this is the procedure. Now, if flag is set to be true at the end of execution, then which of the following statements are true? So before we go to the statements, first of all, just tell me the meaning of this line. What does this mean actually? What can I say about Z or V? If this is true, if these two conditions are true. So see, when I divide T by V, I don't get any remainder, it perfectly divides. And a floor division gives result to V. So from these two, can I conclude that V squared is equal to T? Can I say this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then V is assigned to Z. So which of these four are true? Z is an element in list A. So Z is basically V, which is an element of list A. So this is correct. Z is the smallest number in the list. Is that necessary? If it is the smallest number, then if I do square of it, will it be the product of all the other numbers? No, right? So this is also not correct. Z is the greatest number in the list. That also I can't tell, right? Z square equals the product of all numbers in the list. This I can tell for definite. Because V square and Z square are same thing. So this is the important line in this code, right? So option A and D are correct. Okay, see this. What is the output of this Python code? So this is your list. S is containing, what is L of 0?
56.
56. Now for I in range 1 to length of L. Length of L is 6. How many times does this loop iterate?
1 to 5.
5 times, right? So for every iteration, flag is set to true, then there is a nested for loop where J is in the range length of S. Okay. Now what do we check inside this nested for loop? If L of I is less than S of J. If it is true, then before J is a variable which is assigned all the elements that come before the jth index in S list. After new J is just L of I, current L of I. And after J is the list of elements that come after the jth index, including jth index, obviously. And then this S list is concatenated, and this is the new S list, before J plus new J plus after J. And then flag is set to false and break. If flag remains true, okay, and for none of the J iterations, you see that this is correct, L of I less than S of J. In that case, your flag will keep on remaining true. And at the end, you will come to this if statement, and if flag is true, then you append this current L of I to S. So what is happening here? If I do a dry run, let's try to do some iterations. So first, let's see for, okay, we are starting with this list, and S is currently just a list containing 56. So first iteration, I value is 1. It is starting from 1. Flag is 2. Now for J in range length of S, how many elements are there in S?
1.
So length of S is just 1. So how many times this loop will iterate?
1 time only.
1 time.
5.
So J index is what? 0. So L of I, that is I is 1, L of I is 12. S of J, J is 0, S only contains one element, so S of J is 56. Is 12 less than 56?
Yes.
So we will enter this if block. Now before J, this is all the elements that come before the jth index in S. Now in S list, are there any elements before jth index? Before 56, are there any elements? No.
No.
So this is empty. Now new J is just the L of I. So L of I is 12. So that only. Store it here. After J is J and all the elements after that index. So after J, how many? Only 56. Nothing else is there after 56. So after J contains just 56. Now you build your S. Before j plus new j plus after j. So empty plus 12 plus 56. So new list is 12, 56. Now flag is set to false and we break out of this loop. Okay, and next if you come to the if statement, flag is false, so nothing will happen. Now go for the next iteration where I is, where I is 2. Okay, again flag is set to true. Again start the j iteration. So now your length of S list is what? 2. Right, so how many j iterations will be there? 2 iterations, j0 and j1. So for j0 again do it. What is L of I? I is 2. L of I is 89. Is it less than S of j? J is 0. So 0th element is 12. Is 89 less than 12? No.
No.
So we won't do anything inside the if block. Go for the next iteration when j is 1. So when j is 1, S of j is 56. Okay. So is 89 less than 56?
No.
Again, nothing will happen. So now your inner loop iterations are done. So come to the if statement. Was flag set to false? No. Flag remains true because we never entered the if block. So if flag will give true, so append the current L of I to S. This is S. What is the current L of I? That is L of 2, 89. So if I append it to S, then S becomes 12, 56, 89. Do you need me to do any more iterations of it to understand what is happening? Let's do one more just for this one. So now your I is 3 and L of I is 33. Okay, this is your S list. So when I do j in range length of S, this length is now 3. So 3 j iterations will be there. So when I is 3, j is 0. L of I is 33, S of j is 0, so 12. 33 is less than 12? No, nothing will happen. When j is 1, that is S of j 56. 56 is less than 12? I'm sorry. 33 is less than 56?
Yes.
Yes, right. So now again do that before j. So before j, now 56 is the index. Before this index, how many elements are present in S list? One element. That is 12. What is the new j? Current L of I. Current L of I is 33. So new j contains 33. After j, that is j and the elements after it, that is 56 and 89. Now join these together, your new S is 12, 33, 56, 89. So now you understand what is happening. At the end of execution, when I print S will contain, what will S look like? That's the question. So here we are just doing a sorting, right? This is just sorting operation. So insertion sort. So in this case, which option should be correct? Option B. Right, the sorted one. Is the procedure clear for everyone? This. Okay, if you have a doubt, you ask me. Okay, next is a list comprehension question. So we just discussed this type of a question. So A star B will be an element of the list for every A in this list and B in this list. If A plus B percent 2 is equal to 0. In that case, these elements will be present. So basically, you take every AB pair and check whether this condition is satisfied, and then you can enter it into the new list, right? For example, for this and this, the 2 plus 1 is not an even number, so it will not be there, right? But if I do 2 plus 2, then it is going to have 2 cross 2, that is 4 inserted in it. Now I'm just asking that this list comprehension, out of these 4 snippets of code, which are equivalent to this? I mean, whatever this gives as result, which of these options will also give the same result? So if you look at option A, we have a list L empty. So for A in this list, for B in this list, if A plus B percent 2 is equal to 0, then I'll print this. Is this same as this?
Yes.
This will have the exact same effect. This is correct. Now come to option B. If I run the loop for B first and then for A and then check the condition and append A cross B, is this also equivalent?
Yes, ma'am.
So just think about the order of elements. If I say that order of elements wise, will it be equivalent? Okay, look. If I just run this, okay. So for first A2 and B1, A plus B is not satisfying, so it is not inserted. Okay. Then A2, B2. So B, that is 2 plus 2 is divided by 2. So we enter 4 as the first element. Here, what will be the first element? 1 with 2. This will not work. 1 with 3. Right? 1 plus 3 is 4. So 4% 2 is equal to 0. So 1 cross 3. That is 3 is the first element here. So ordering wise, these are not same. So if I say order wise, what will be equivalent? Is it option A or option B? Here, what is the outer loop? A. Then B.
Ma'am, in both cases, we are adding A plus B.
No, we are doing
Not
multiply.
okay.
Okay, that's why the order is changing. So order wise, if I see, this option is correct. But if I just say that the elements are same, like these two lists are going to be complete containing exactly same elements, then that is correct. Yeah, but the ordering will be different if you reverse the loops. Option C, will it work? Will it give the same order? Check what is different. Only this line is different. Instead of append, I'm using this operator. This also works, right? This will do the same thing. Option D. Will this work?
No.
Because here we are directly not checking the condition A plus B is divisible by 2 or not. Okay. So this is the last code snippet. From here we'll have 3 different questions. So read this. So we have a function called checkWord, which takes some word as parameter. Now dash is a variable containing just this, a hyphen. So we check if this dash or this hyphen is present in the word. If it is present, then return false. Okay. Then again we check if this is present. Is this a nested if? Wait. I think this is a nested if. Okay. But this should not be a nested if. Okay. This second if, it should be outside. I mean, the indentation is a little wrong. It should be the same indent as this if. Because these are separate conditions. These are not nested. So anyways, if we imagine that this is the correct syntax, this if is here. Then if the word contains a hyphen, it directly returns false, this function. Now, let's say it doesn't contain a hyphen. So next we will check if the word is small, if the first letter of the word, that is word of 0 at the index, first letter of the word is in smaller case or not, right? If it is not small case, then return false. Why? Because we are checking if not of this. That means this is true, then not of this is false, right? So,
Miss, if the
yeah.
second if is not indented, then we want to check the both if, right?
Yeah, both ifs.
If the first
If the first if executes and it returns, then it will not check the second if again. It is returning.
okay, miss, okay.
But if first if isn't true, then you come to the second if and check
Okay,
that
miss.
does the first element in the word, does the first letter, does it fall in this range, small a to small z? That is it lowercase? If it is not lowercase, then you return false. Okay. If it is lowercase, then you come to this third. This if this is a for loop, right? So you come to the for loop block then. Otherwise you return here only. So for I in range 1 to length of word. Okay. So whatever my word is, I'm starting with the second index. 0th index, here I've modified the range to 1, right? So it will start with the second letter of the word and go up till the last letter. And for every letter, it is checking whether that letter is in this range. That is, whether that letter is capital letter or not. Falls in the range capital A to capital Z. Okay. If it is not a capital letter, that is for every, let's say, this is my word. Okay, I'm just taking some XYZ word. Okay. So if I have reached till this for loop, then I know that the first letter, that this does not contain any hyphens. That's why this if was not valid. Then the second if means that the first letter is smaller case. That's why I've come up to this for loop. So this for loop checks whether from the second letter onwards everything is in uppercase or not. Right? If it is not in uppercase, then it returns false. So the question is, what will be the output of this? If I pass this string, will it return true or false? First check, does it contain any hyphens? No, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the first letter small or capital? Small letter.
Small.
That means this if is invalid. Then come to the for loop. So for loop checks that whether every letter starting from the second letter is capital or not. If we find even one single letter which is not capital, then it will return false, otherwise true.
True.
So this will return true because all conditions are satisfied. Okay. Now some string is a non-empty string containing only letters. Okay, no digits or symbols. So what is the value returned by this? So it is just containing letters, no digits or symbols or anything. So can I say that it is true or false, or can I not determine it? I can't determine, right? Because it depends on whether the first letter is smaller case and all the other letters are uppercase or not. So just by this information that it contains only letters, I cannot tell. So option C is the correct answer. We need more information about the nature of the string. And this is the last question. So another string, this is a string of length 6. How many uppercase letters are in another string if this procedure, when I passed another string as a parameter in check word, it returned true? So how many uppercase letters are there in this another string?
5.
5. Why? Because the first letter is small case. After that, every letter has to be uppercase, only then it returns true. So the answer is 5. So this type of basic questions will come from, list, string, dictionaries. Okay, so this I think is good enough for your revision. Okay, if you want more questions on these topics, you can ask me. I will provide the questions. And if you want any of these PDFs also, I can share. Okay, so any doubt
Yes,
from
ma'am.
your
We
side?
want this PDF. Ma'am.
Okay, where can I share it? I think Google Meet I can't share.
Here
So
in this chat itself, we can share both.
in this chat I can share. Do you want the annotated ones or do you want clean PDF?
Better clean PDF.
Ma'am,
Clean,
both
right?
if possible, please share the both one
Okay,
because
okay.
we can easily
Annotations
check.
better.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just give the annotations for now, then later on I can give you the clean ones, okay? Or you can clean it, it's very easy. Just go online and remove the annotations. Wait, I'll try to upload it. But there is no option to upload in the chat here. I think I can't share it here.
I
Okay.
think you need to push in the
Just share
Yeah.
madam, I think.
drive and then.
Do you have a drive for extra resources or should I create one?
Ma'am, please put one.
Okay, then give me 2 minutes. Let me create a drive and I'll give you the link. Okay, I've pasted the link in the chat. Can you just check if you have the access? Anyone can just check and let me know once.
Yes, it's working, madam.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we can open this.
Okay, yeah. So these topics are good enough for revision from weeks 4 and 5. Okay. Next we'll have the DAT session for the next 3 weeks, I think 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
See, I have given the access to anyone with the link. So people who are writing that you're not able to open, just wait. Let me check again. I'll give you the link one more time, okay, after saving the access. Okay, here's the link. This should work for everyone. If it doesn't work, let me know. I'm also leaving my email below. Okay. Okay, just send me an email on this if you face any issues. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.